All right, so for that 28% of people in Wyoming who wanted Liz Cheney to win, I got good news for you. Cheney is pondering a 2024 bid. This is amazing. Great. It's been it was not even a day when she was comparing herself to Abraham Lincoln and basically announced she was running for president. I couldn't believe it.
It was 20 minutes.
It was 20 minutes. 20 minutes. She was like, the first thing she says, Abraham Lincoln lost many battles before going on to win the most important. Or he's like lost election in the Senate and Congress before going on to win the most important. It's like, bro, are you calling yourself are you comparing yourself to Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah,
she saying you're going to run for president? Like,
there's going to have to be a book deal. There's going to have to be some, TV spots and special interviews and things like that.
Tucker nailed it because he was like, she's gonna start a foundation and write a book called like Democracy or something.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
And I will paraphrase Lincoln a little bit here and say that by Liz Cheney losing by 40 points, our nation has gained a new birth of freedom away from neocon warmongers.
Yeah, for sure.
And so points, man.
And
wow.
Gosh.
But it just goes to show, I think the point to be made here is that people always like to say what she did was brave when she came out and opposed Trump. That was somehow a brave thing to do. The least brave thing any human being in Washington, D.C. can do. Yeah, the least brave thing any human being in Washington, D.C. can do is claim to be a Republican and come out against Trump. Mm-hmm. You will get showered with praise from the media. You will get, huge money. You'll if you're like Alyssa Farah, you'll get your own show. You'll be picked for The View. It's the easiest thing to do ever. And so she's not brave for what she's doing. She's really bitter that Donald Trump turned the GOP base against her family dynasty, and she was raised with delusions of grandeur that she'd one day be president, and that's not possible anymore. And she's bitter about it.
She's like Hillary Clinton in that respect.
Ugh.
But I think a lot of it is that Trump insulted her dad.
Trump was one of the first major Republican candidate for president who came out, called out Bush and Cheney for the Iraq War.
That was amazing.
That's the only reason Liz Cheney hates him. It has nothing to do with January 6th. It was a convenient way for her to become a martyr for her father's political legacy. What it all has to do is that Trump basically destroyed her family dynasty, and she'll never be president because of it.
So we talked about how, what I think four of the 10 who voted for impeachment, Republicans who voted for impeachment, retired?
Yep.
Maybe more.
Yeah, it was a bunch of them.
Yeah, retired.
I think it was more.
There's 8.
There's only 2.
No. 8 are out. 2 won.
Oh.
But I think, it might be more than that because I think 2 lost. Now, how many lost? 4?
So, I'm trying to think. Jamie Herrera Butler just lost to Joe Kent, so that's 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But it's a mixture of retirement.
Kinzinger didn't quit.
Right.
He got
gerrymandered.
He did everything the Democrats wanted him to do, and they thanked him by gerrandering
That
out of
is
his district.
awesome.
Imagine being as cucked as Adam Kinzinger is.
Oh, what a loser.
Jeez.
That guy is like such spineless establishment trash defending Ray Epps. It's like, are you joking, dude? You could come up with a better excuse than, well, he didn't actually go in the building. Shut up. You're better off saying nothing. That guy has no spine. And so it's all so much more sweet knowing that they basically just booted him out.
So if
for
the January 6th committee continues into the next Congress, they're not going to have any Republicans on the committee at all.
Well, it's not going to continue.
They're going to kill it.
It's not going to continue when Republicans win the House because they now have the power to make committees and suspend committees.
So they would be able to just turn it off.
I don't trust the Republicans, but I do think we're getting a lot of those MAGA Republicans in, so maybe we'll see something.
We've picked up a lot of W's in these primaries. Like I say to people all the time, primaries at this point are more important than general elections.
Yep.
Because you can elect a Republican, but if it's somebody who's going to be a squish and not represent you the way you should be, what's the point? But we've had a lot of wins in this primary. A lot of great people have won who will actually fight for the people who elected them.
Jack Posobiec nailed it the other day when he said that the January 6th hearings are like a true crime show for all the wine moms, to watch, and they're getting ready for the next season or whatever. And he's right. I mean, they put it on primetime TV. It is probably that demographic who's listening to this going like, oh, wow. And the funny thing is, as much as they claim to hate Donald Trump, a lot of these people are the ones who are probably writing him love letters once he goes to prison, assuming like these are the kind of people that write love letters to serial killers. They're so evil, but I love you so much.
They secretly love Donald Trump because Donald Trump is what gives them ratings. Donald Trump is what gives them page views. Like,
I mean, the ladies.
Oh, yeah, that's true, too.
I'm saying like, there are women who write love letters to serial killers and like how they want to be with them, and it's like that dude like straight up killed a bunch of people, but they love it. So like I'm saying, these true crime women that are watching January 6th are actually let me tell you this. There's a viral video of someone asking 3 women, "What is a woman?" I'm sorry, it's a young woman asking three other women, and someone had a good point about it. I'm not sure who it was. It might have been Matt Walsh, and he said they all know exactly what a woman is, but they're trying to reconcile what they know it is with what they're supposed to say.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so that's basically the point I'm getting at. People will say they hate Trump, say it's all so evil, but they're so excited watching this, hearing about this dangerous, large Donald Trump. They're probably getting all lusty.
But how do you even like enjoy that? Like I watched the first one for about 10 minutes and I felt like I was at a party and some guy I hate came up to me and started talking to me about his 401k in excruciating detail. That's what it felt. I was like, who can sit through this? It's just, you're going to listen to Adam Kinzinger and Benny Thompson just drone on for hours on end.
But they're sitting there eating popcorn and they're like, oh, what's going to happen next? It's they made that podcast Mueller, She Wrote. I think that's what it was called. During the Russiagate. Mueller, She Wrote. And it's just that. It's like true crime conspiracy nonsense for suburban wine moms.
I guess that's Liz Cheney's constituency.
That's
if
right.
She ever runs for president.
I mean, probably.
Sure.
Yeah. She
gave them that season. They loved it.
What's hilarious about that to me is the fact that the media and the Democrats' newfound fondness for the Cheneys. It's hilarious. And it goes to show there is a uniparty in D.C. and they all secretly want the same things. And that's why they love Liz Cheney so much. It's not because she spoke out against Trump. It's because they all agree at the end of the day.
It's not just that they all agree. They want to maintain their power structure, and they don't want anybody to come in who's going to disrupt that.
That's true.
So that's why they stick together.
Yeah. But she's just like not a good person either. Like one of my favorite stories ever in the history of politics is in 2014, she tried to primary Mike Enzi, senator from Wyoming. Keep in mind, Liz Cheney, in her formative years, only lived in Wyoming for 2 years. She grew up in suburban Virginia. She went to McLean High School. This is like 10 minutes from where I live, which is hilarious. And she's running for Senate in Wyoming. And when she announced, it was a Facebook post that was geotagged to McLean, Virginia. And then in this race, she came out and publicly denounced her sister because her sister is a lesbian. And she came out and publicly denounced her.
Right.
That was recent.
This was 2014.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And so
she denounced her sister for being gay.
So she came out against gay marriage and she has a lesbian. But yeah, she did that. And no matter what your views on gay marriage are, if you're somebody who would come out and denounce your own family in order to win a political, in order to win
she
a
could at least
race,
said nothing.
like that's literally like that's not just not somebody who's a good person. Well, and like somehow she found her way as chair of the Republican conference when she made it to the House.
Take a look at this. This is Liz Cheney. Donate to the great task.
Is that a picture of Abe Lincoln?
It's a picture of Abe Lincoln.
This is gross.
What's their obsession with Abe? I understand it's the party of Lincoln and all that, but like the Lincoln Project, they're like Abraham Lincoln, Donald Trump. What?
It's all this. It's the same stuff as like remaking Game of Thrones and remaking the Lord of the Rings, and they're remaking Abe Lincoln, trying
cultural
to remake
stagnation.
Yeah.
They're just trying to stick with a brand that they think works.
Well, like her whole re-election, like she never had a shot of winning, like not in a million years. Like this whole thing was just a giant grift to raise money for an eventual presidential campaign that will also be a giant grift, and that's. Now she's doing that.
That's it right there. Because I was saying the other day, like, why wouldn't she just retire and try and save as much face as possible, like all these other guys? And then and now I realize, like, she probably spent very little. She probably raised as much as she could. She went around saying, Democrats, you've got to support me. We got to stop Trump, collecting all this money. And then she probably didn't spend it. She's probably just like, I don't need to use it. I'm going to lose anyway, but I can keep it for something else.
Which is hilarious because she raised big money, like from left wing, and like 90% of it came from outside Wyoming, which is hilarious.
I just absolutely love the Democrat Twitter personalities who are like, the Republican Party died today, and it's like, dude, you don't like her,
and you're not part of it anyway. Like you have no idea.
But it's just like we expect that they wanted the party to survive and do well. No, you hate Republicans. You rag on them all day, every day. You're only supporting her because she hates Trump. If given the choice, it's like Kinzinger. He drops to his knees for the Democrats, and then they're like, excellent, and then they
slap him,
kick him into the bucket.
And that's what
it's like actually like a movie villain where the villains always just like kill their own henchmen.
Yes.
And there's a lesson to be had here if you're a Republican. Like I just thought of another impeachment Republican that just got primaried, Peter Meyer from Michigan, who just lost to John Gibbs. Peter Meyer in his primary, he voted to impeach Trump. He voted for gun control. He voted for Ukraine aid. He voted for all of these things that are incredibly unpopular with the Republican base. And what did the Democrats do to thank him? They spent thousands of dollars boosting his opponent in his own primary. and he ended up losing it. And it just goes to like, if you are really going, if you will never appease these people.
You know who
will never ever appease these.
Well, it's like that,
it does not matter.
You know who made the right choice? Jeff Van Drew.
Oh,
That's true. Yeah.
When the impeachment stuff was going on, he was like, "I'm not doing this," and then he switched, and then he won his primary in a landslide.
Sure did.
It was like 80 points or whatever. He was a former Democrat. He's a moderate guy in South Jersey, backed Trump, and ended up winning the primary in a landslide.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And like people say,
I remember my mom was pissed about that. She lives in Jersey.
What, she doesn't like Jeff Van Drew?
Yeah, she didn't
That
like
makes
that
no
whole
sense.
thing.
No, you see, this is the problem with American politics. And I'm not trying to be mean to your mom, but if you would vote for a Democrat and then one thing changes, I don't think we should impeach Trump, so I'm off the Democrat Party. And you're like, well, now I don't like him. Like, huh? Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.